His coach Sean's after that loss, and he's going to talk about the tiebreaker coming up.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Of course, joined by Sean's after what was a nail-biting 1-1 split. Now, jumping right into it, you guys were close to the 2-0, but now we're going to see that tiebreaker match later in the day. What went wrong for your team in that second game? Why weren't you guys able to close it out as the 2-0?
I think like Fiora got some kills that she should not get, and well, they just I would say out-rotated us in a moment of the game, which is really crucial, which is around Nashor, and they get Inferno right after. So that's pretty bad. Also on the second Inferno, I think we get a kill, but they get a kill on Cabo, and we cannot get Inferno while we have control of both sides, so that was like pretty bad for us. So well, when you get 3 Inferno and Nashor, you can only lose, so that's pretty bad.
Obviously a pretty good situation for Schalke to be in. Now, looking ahead, a lot of pressure on you guys coming. One more game can decide whether or not you'll be safe or moving into that promotion tournament. Are you guys feeling the pressure right now? What do you think the mental state of the team is like?
No, we have no pressure because, of course, there is like a goal, like is to not be in relegation. Because we are already like kind of disappointed by the fact that we are around 7th and 8th place already. So we are just like trying to prove ourselves that we are actually good players. Good like a team overall, so this is like pretty good also to have a third game because at least we get to BO3.
Living, I guess, the dream. We'll see what happens in the coming seasons, of course. But looking ahead, have you guys even considered the promotion tournament, or is there even any worry that you're going to end up there? And have you looked at the opposition that you could potentially face?
Yeah, of course we looked at the potential outcome, but we are not thinking about this because we already have enough time. Of course, I didn't prepare against, I think it's Millennium in case. But we will just go into this game with the mentality of winning, because you can win one game, you can lose one game, but the best team usually wins in the BO3. So if we have like a good mental strength, and if we have like good attitude coming into this game, then I think we will get it.
All right, well, thank you very much for talking with me. Of course, good luck with your next few hours of prep before we get into that final tiebreaker. But that's going to do it for us here on the interview area. We're going to send it back over to the analyst desk to break that game down.
You surprised me there, Sifa. Anyway, tied series, an update on the standings is what we're going to get to first. And taking a look, obviously that 7th place is still on the table. Standings are going to... No, it's a high... Okay, no standings.
Well,
you
no see some happy people in front of you instead.
No, actually, that is another stream. We're looking at the wrong monitor.
Well, we are the happy people you see in front of you guys.
There's a lot of screens in this studio and
there
we go. Going on.
We got it. We got the standings. Basically, as you can see, Origin cannot catch any of the teams either. So they're also locked in place because Rocket has been losing. So they're locked in place. Everything is starting to fit except for Schalke Vitality, because now we get the 3rd game.
Yeah, and as information, that 3rd game, that best of 1, will be played on stream EU LCS 2 after OG H2K wraps up. So right there, and then we will see Vitality versus Schalke to see who stays in the LCS. We heard a couple of words from Sean's there saying, obviously disappointed. Oh, but now we get to play another game. We're not gonna. I think that was a bit of a banter, but you know, as a coach, with the promise that we saw in spring or were supposed to see, I would also be disappointed.
Yeah, Schalke did come out at points saying that one of their main goals was to be a mid-tier team, you know, and they kind of survived this split in the rebuilding phase. Vitality, I mean, then rather than Schalke. However, like I think they didn't even hit that mark, and they can go home disappointed. I think the players all want the actual vacation, not the meme one. But I think they would make it out of relegations anyway. So even if Vitality fumbled there, they will make it back into the LCS.
Again, trust in Schalke, trust in Vitality to make it back. However,
if you don't have to play it.
We've both been there, you know, playing promotion tournament. It's so weird because of the way, you know, like the implication of you losing your job, your team splitting up, and you know, your coach yelling at you, whatever it is, the nervousness you have is so different from playing a game like this, because you're like, I might lose everything.
I actually never got nervous for them, but it feels it feels like there's not a winner in relegations. Like you prep for teams that you think in your head are weaker, and then you show up, and then either they surprise you by suddenly having everything together, or you just have relatively easy wins, but then like you feel like a disgusting loser even if you 3-0 that series, because like you just have to play to get back into the LCS, and it's the most horrible feeling in the world. So like by all means, this match has to be super important for Vitality and Schalke, and I hope they get the prep in.
And I really like the point you just made about not 100% knowing what the team you're playing against is going to do, because if you're playing a challenger team, yeah, you've been watching them play against other challenger teams, problem is when they play against each other, there's like the challenger meta in a sense. It's not the same when you play against an LCS team, especially not when it's an important game. So you don't actually 100% know, like, okay, take Misfits as the example. They've mechanically outplayed every other challenger player. Yeah. But that's because the challenger scene have had fairly weak teams, honestly, this split. So they've been looking very, very good at certain things. Well, when Alphari takes on EpicSkillshot, let's say if Vitality are playing it, is that going to be the same deal, or are you suddenly in a situation where Misfits will change everything because they can't rely on Alphari, like beating EpicSkillshot, and then it's a whole different kind of ball game? And that's why it's really hard to predict how they're going to play, and it just gives you another sense of uncomfortable
insecurity.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, what's going to happen? Yeah. You need that game 1 over. You need to win that game 1 as well.
So first up, Vitality or Schalke need to win that game that we're going to see after H2K OG on ELCS2. So right here, also player of the game for this one, Fox. Very interesting figure to follow actually throughout all of the splits that we've seen him, but this time a good performance here in this game.
Definitely a solid Rise play. I like that Schalke is incorporating the ultimate a little bit in their decision making too, you know, showing the potential of the new Rise perhaps. Fox as a player, I'm a little sad for him because I think he had a fantastic start and he was really one of the shining lights. And like when we did, like, for example, the gold distribution analysis where Elements in Spring will have like a major dip in mid lane, and now Fox had the highest peak ever. It was so sad, so great to see him kind of shine, but then everything started crumbling down around him, and he couldn't really leave his mark.
I think he's shown now in multiple seasons that he's a player you can count on individually, but he doesn't seem to pull his teammates with him. You know, when he's improving, everyone else gets kind of left behind. So I would love to see this guy on a team with equally as good individual players and just see, like, will he actually be fantastic? I think we saw some of it when he played for SK, back when they had Forgiven.
They had the brain.
You know, they had everything, you know, on that team to win the regular season at least. But once they got into playoffs, while he was still individually fine, the team weren't really playing with him anymore, and no one then performed well enough, and they actually lost basically all the games in playoffs. So I actually want to see him, like, with really smart players around him who can facilitate the macro, and then he can shine individually. Yeah,
we will see what happens if we see that in promotion tournament, or if we see them back in the split of 2017. That's next year. Yeah, anyway. Over on ELCS 1, Giants were up against Roccat. They had won game 1. Now they 2-0'd Roccat over there as well. That means that they still have a chance for 3rd place.
Yeah, and now if Fnatic loses against G2, suddenly Giants will actually take their 3rd place. So they've basically done their job. This game was fairly one-sided for Giants. They were never really under any pressure, and a bit like the last game, they won almost all the team fights. Whenever you were looking over, watching the game, it was a team fight in favor of Giants again and again and again.
And that's exactly what we're looking for from Giants, you know, a semblance of consistency. We just want them to keep performing better against these lower tier teams, and I think they have improved to that. Like, the Giants that we saw at the start of the split was so disjointed. There were like major communication errors, and it looked like another season, and this is a statement I've made so often, is like Giants as an organization never showed any growth. So like they never improved their macro, they never improved their team play, and now with like 2 foreigners in there, like with a weird language, you would think.
And
weird?
Not yet, the 2 foreigners. Brexit hasn't passed yet, Martin. But yeah, to see if that comes crumbling down, and it all started getting better week to week. So it's actually impressive from Giants.
It is fantastic for them. They can still be 3rd. It also depends on what Fnatic and H2K do, of course, later in the day. We're going to take a quick break. I was going to say, Roccat is also locked in 10th now, as we saw, and Origin is in 9th. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around. We'll find out if Origin get a bit of pride back against the powerhouse of H2K in our 2nd series of the day in the studio when we come back.
The gold lead is still 1,000 in favor of Schalke. Mr. Arls is going to get taken down. An onslaught comes out from Shook. Fox has already killed Shook, and Vitality are running. Look at that rune. Realm warping in. Fox isn't done. He's got another. Schalke have killed 3 members of Vitality. Here comes Shook. The Nexus is being focused, and Schalke have done it. Schalke have got 1 more life.